Thank you so much, Dr. Sonny Duke. Yes, for us here in Lagos, we'll be bringing you the Lagos State Assembly crisis going on, or Tussle, you may like. And of course, we'll be looking at the various episodic series coming from the Lagos State Assembly. We've got so much to discuss about on the show today. It's the 5th of March 2025, Monday. And of course, we have two guests joining us in the person of Dr. Fidelis Ayemoba. Yes, he's joining us virtually from Finland. And of course, we have Mr. Sahid Ajadi. Yeah.
Ajadi.
He's a politician by profession anyway. He's joining us right here in the studio. So let me start with you, Mr. Saeed Ajadi. Good morning, and thank you so much for joining us.
Good morning. Thanks for having me. Good morning, Nigerians.
All right, Mr. Fidelis, are you there? Good morning, and thank you so much for joining us from Finland.
Yeah, good morning. Good morning, viewers. Good morning, Lagosians. Good morning, Nigerians. And good morning, ITV.
All right. So the discussion today will be centered on the Lagos State Assembly. It's becoming very much episodic because we get to see a series of crises, either from the party itself, APC, or the GAC. And sometimes it's becoming a situation where some persons would say, is it like the more you see or the more you look, the less you see situation? Well, we're going to be having you and the guests right here give us more layers to this discussion. But let me start with my guest right here in the person of Mr. Saeed. On January 13, 2025, the House became full-blown with crisis when Obasa was removed. And by every indication, it took more than 2/3 of the members of the House to remove the Speaker.
Valid.
Good. What does it take to reinstate the Speaker?
Thank you very much, and good morning, Nigerians. We've seen the reality of the situation. The Speaker insisted when he was removed that due process was not followed because the House was suspended from plenary. However, the Deputy Speaker was there, seated, and they called an emergency plenary in his absence, which is allowed. And they did what they did, and he was removed. Magnanimity of their party and the insistence of the leader of the party, the president, and the GAC members made sure that there's a fair play amongst all parties involved. There were meetings that took place, several meetings in Abuja and in Lagos. However, the most important meeting was a weekend before the last plenary, which they came to last week, Monday. They had a caucus and they invited all the members of the assembly, 39 of them, including Obasa and Miranda. They casted a vote privately. 7 voted for Obasa, 32 voted for Miranda against him. So a decision was made. Miranda should resign at the plenary, which was scheduled for Monday. 3 days after, Obasa should resign after calling back the suspension of the plenary of Monday. So we saw that the plenary took place. Miranda resigned and sat on a normal seat as a floor member. One person nominated Obasa to come back as a speaker, and he was seconded. He came on seat, sat there as a speaker, and suspended plenary immediately. So, what does that mean? Is the substantive speaker now? Has he done what was agreed? No. It's now a week. Today is Monday, 8 days. Obasa has not resigned. What we know now is that Obasa is trying to scheme his way to retain that seat perpetually, rather than go by the agreement of the party. That's a failure of his personality. He's not bigger than the party. And it means that he's not a gentleman. An agreement was arrived and achieved for the fairness, because you see, the president waded in and said they should be fair. Now, the governor is from either North or Central Senatorial District in Lagos. Miranda is from Central senatorial district in Lagos. The deputy is probably from North senatorial district. So the president make them understand that this is not how we play it. There has to be fair play. Choose someone from the West. You guys go and sit down and sort this out with your governor. That's why the GAC members waded in and discussed the issue. Obasa is from West. It was said that Obasa should step down. They should bring a fresh person from the West, either from Ikeja, either from Alimosho or Agege, back where Obasa comes from. And they nominated several people. But because they wanted Miranda, they were still insisting that it's Miranda they wanted. But the GAC members insisted, look, that arrangement has to change. Miranda must go, Obasa must go. That's the instruction we're given. Pick someone from the West. And they got 3 candidates that they've picked. They're only waiting for Obasa's resignation in order to be able to pick a substantive speaker. Till now, Obasa has not tendered his resignation. That's the quagmire. So that means that he has gone against the principle of fair play. He has gone against the principle of democracy. Because that means he's not a gentleman.
All right. So you've established the fact that there was a grand design in the reinstatement of Obasa in the first place.
Yes.
Against the background that he didn't get majority of the votes that allowed him to come in.
Yes.
Good. Now, I'll ask my guest who is on Zoom to respond to your take. Dr. Fidelis, are you there?
Good morning.
All right. I'm very well aware that you listened to Mr. Saheed when he made his submission. Now, what is your take? What is your take on the fact that at this point, Obasa has failed to tender his resignation, given the fact that he was allowed to come in to tender his resignation letter so as not to create a stain or his resignation being marred by a sack?
Thank you.
So what is your take on that?
Yeah, basically, first of all, I want to say good day, Lagosians and Nigerians. Nice. I want to say thank you to my fellow guest. But there's something I would like to say. It's first, I want to dwell on the morality and the lessons from Lagos State House of Assembly. Obasa, I'm not privy to this information. I want to believe that the politician is giving me this information that there is a grand plot and an arrangement. But one of the things I want to say is if there was an arrangement, one of the things, okay, let me start from here. I so much treasure the Lagos State structure and system because whether you like it or not, our generation cannot live without mentors, coach, teachers, fathers, pastors, leaders, and otherwise. Lagos State has shown so much maturity in their operations that they can listen and respect leadership, structure, and organization. Now, if such a thing had led to Miranda resigning and Obasa refused to respect the same system that is trying to put into give a positive face to his person, not to have ruined or marred his political achievement over time, then I think it's completely wrong, as it were. He's supposed to do the needful. If there's an agreement, there must be an agreement. If everybody took a decision to respect structure and leadership, he is supposed to reciprocate that because it was done largely in his favor. And I must confess that Miranda and the entire Lagos State House of Assembly, they've shown maturity, they've shown leadership. And obviously, if I listen to Desmond Elliott, that he said we disagreed in love, we fought in love, we did everything in love these few days. And you could see tears. That means that he has lost it because it takes majority to be a speaker. It does not take power, it takes majority. And if there is a structure that, I repeat, if there's a structure that has respected him, I believe he should respect the structure. Thank you.
looking at it from the angle of respecting structure, because like you said, it takes a majority to be a leader, not by power. Now, let me fall back to you, Mr. Said. You listen to what he said. Now, is it a case of being more powerful, building individuals who are more powerful than an institution, than having an institution that is more powerful than individuals? Especially looking at the play in the state assembly.
That's what I was telling you earlier, that there was a vote. And the institution had casted, the people had casted their votes. Majority carries the vote. Individuals cannot be ahead of the institution. The president that puts his voice to it, he wants to save Obasa. He's 10 years. So it will not be good for him to get out of the system having been sacked. So if the system and the institution has been fair to you, you need to respect yourself. The individual needs to respect himself and respect the party that has put you there and do the right thing.
Good. Now, my question to you now is, information has it that Pa Tajuddin, who is the chairman of the GAC, made a statement.
Pa Tajuddin Olusi? Or?
Yes, Pa Tajuddin Olusi. Okay. He made a statement that the House member do not or lack the power to remove the speaker. Can you please tell us, where is the place of the GAC in the scheme of things?
That's a wrong statement. The members of the party and the National Assembly members, state assembly members, they have a right to remove the speaker.
He said, that's why I just quoted him.
That's what I'm saying.
That
I heard
they do not have the power. In fact, he said it verbatim, that they lack the power to remove the speaker of the House. Which gives rise to my question. Where is the place of GAC in the scheme of things?
The advisory committee, governor's advisory committee.
So if...
Let me explain it to you.
Go ahead, please.
Thank you. They are advisory. They were not elected. The people that were elected are the state members of the assembly. And the law states that if they don't have the right, they will not be pleading for fair play. They have a right. What Obasa is saying was that, let me be on seat where if you want to remove me, rather than do it behind me. That's a coup. Yeah? But the reality is that the whole of Lagos State is not going to wait for the Speaker of Assembly. The governance needs to move on. The state needs to move on. They have elected these people to represent them. And if they are saying that Obasa is no more their speaker, he's no more their speaker. Majority always carries the vote. And if they are saying to you now, okay, have some patience. Let's have some decorum here. Or let's have some fair play. Give him another chance. Let him be reinstated. Afterwards resign. I feel that as a gentleman, that is very, very fair to him. Have they not removed several speakers before in Lagos State? Why would the chairman of GAC say that? That's ignorance as far as I'm concerned. He's called him Pa. Maybe Pa is getting old.
Well, we'll come to that part, but let's focus
but the reality,
on substance. Let's focus on
the
substance.
reality is that the law does not stop the assembly members from either saying they want a speaker or they don't want the speaker.
All right, so we are going to be going by what the law book says.
Thank you.
As regards the removal and electing of a leader.
Speaker.
Now, let us go to our guest who is joining us virtually, Mr. Fidelis, Dr. Fidelis. Are you there? All right, so we want to look at the law book, what it says, and I want you to respond in view of what Mr. said earlier. According to 1992 of the section as amended, Nigerian Constitution, the Speaker shall be, including his deputy of the House of Assembly, be elected by members of the House from among themselves. That is what section 92 of the Nigerian Constitution as amended states. And now let me give you another part of the section. Section 92, subsection 2C says that the Speaker or the deputy shall vacate the seat if he is removed from office by a resolution of the House of Assembly by the vote of not less than 2/3 majority of the member of the House.
The way it's done.
Now, with what the Constitution says, I asked a question earlier. Where is the place of the GAC in their involvement in this, especially looking at it from the angle of Pa Tajuddin, who said the House member lacks the power to remove the Speaker?
Okay, thank you again. Can I say something?
Please go ahead.
I want to believe that before you came on stage today, you came out of your dressing room. Is it true?
Absolutely.
So your look today in the public is a product of what you did secretly in your dressing room by your mirror, or whoever, if you have a wife, who played the role of perfecting your dressing for today. I Tajuddin, I don't know if he's speaking from the Constitution, which is the guiding material for us, or he's speaking from a document of necessity. If the people in the House has a transaction before appearing before us, because whether you like it or not, the solution and the problem of Nigeria today is largely connected to system structure and leadership. You may call it godfatherism or godmotherism. Because whether you like it or not, your picture was not on the ballot. It was the party logo that was there. And the Nigerian Constitution supersedes everything. Whatever they do in the House is supposed to be, as it were. But the issue here is, what is the party transactional agreement with every one of them? Because majority of the House is All Progressive Congress. So he may be speaking from the document or from the dressing room, not from the show, whatever. So for me, I want to say the Constitution is and is. You can't doubt it, you can't fault it. That's what the Nigerian Constitution says. This vote, this majority makes this one. But Nigeria are we largely run by the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Itato?
That's my next question to you, because you just took it out of my mouth. And now the question is, I'm going to put it clear to you, that on the basis of what Pa Tajuddin said, is it possible that under the APC administration and of course its leadership, a speaker can be removed by the suspension of the Constitution?
Yes. Constitutional provisions can help remove a speaker. But the speaker just came back by virtue of party GAC intervention. So that tells you there's also the party, the power of the party, or the power of the structure, or the power of the leadership that is betting whoever is sitting on the speaker seat or sitting in the House, as it were.
Thank you very much. Now let me fall back to you, Mr. Said. Which is supreme, party or Constitution?
Constitution is supreme.
Why do you say so?
What are we if we don't have a constitution? We need a law that guides all everybody. It's the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. If I am a public servant or a politician, I must abide by the Constitution of the Federal Republic. What am I there for? I'm elected based on the Constitution, based on INEC. INEC is part of the Constitution of the Federal Republic, and there are laws there.
Are you not contradicting yourself?
No.
When you said the former speaker, who is now the reinstated speaker, was called privately.
That's what you see.
Did it take the two-thirds of the members, as the Constitution states, to reinstate him back?
You mentioned things that I've not spoken about. You said Baba Olusi, Pa Olusi said.
That's what I quoted.
Okay, good.
Now, if we are to go by the Constitution, which is said is supreme, should they have called Obasa privately? That's my question.
They could. That's why I explained to you.
Outside the knowledge of the House?
Hold on. You cannot ask the question and answer it. Let me tell you. The reality on ground is that APC tried to mediate the crisis of Lagos State.
How?
By interfering, the GAC's interference, they are an advisory council for Lagos State. Do you understand? Now, if there's a crisis in the assembly, how does the state function very well? There's going to be a problem. And that's the quagmire now. If you look at what has happened since the beginning of January, February, there's been a lackadaisical attitude. Things are not been moving the way it's supposed to move. Because governance is about the three arms: judiciary, the assembly, and the executive. Thank you. Why I said the constitution is supreme to the party. The party comes in because you ran on the platform of the party, and you must respect the leadership of the party and what has brought you as a candidate. That's why there was an advisory role by the party. It does not stop the constitution from being the supreme law that guides everybody. You've read that part of the constitution. That's why I said to you that Paulusi goofed by saying that the House of Assembly members cannot remove the speaker.
Please say that again.
I said Paulusi goofed by saying the House of Assembly members cannot remove the speaker. What are they there for? Why are they there? For instance, in the Senate, they were saying that the letter that Natasha wrote supposed to have come from her constituent. What does that mean? There are people waiting for whoever is representing them that needs to go back to them. So there has to be rules of engagement. The rules of engagement says that if you are a speaker and we don't want you, we can vote you out. That's what you read out in two different sections of the constitution. That's different from APC. APC is the party that they rode on to be there. That does not stop the constitution from executing each party executing its own rules, responsibilities. Their responsibility they have done, and that is why you saw it played out at the plenary again on Monday. What you read out was what was done on Monday, and after it was done, Miranda stepped down. That's the law. And that's what you read out as part of the constitution. She resigned and stepped down. Someone nominated Obasa again to be the speaker and was seconded in the House. Why is the GAC member saying that is unconstitutional? If they did that on the floor on last week Monday, it cannot be that. That means that the man is contradicting what is going on. You have advised that this is what you want as a party going forward. That should be what is expected to be done. One party has done that, the majority, because they have the votes now, they have the numbers. So Obasa sitting there is minority.
Okay, so you've established your point. So we'll be going for a short break now, and when we come back, we'll take the discussion to the front lines.
Thank you.
To stay. Of course, it's still the discussion concerning the GAC and the APC's Caucus involvement in the Lagos Assembly crisis, or Tussle, you might call it. Now, we have our guests right here in the person of Mr. Said Ajadi and, of course, Dr. Fidelis Ayemoba, who is joining us virtually from Finland. Now, let's look at the issue of Obasa going against the agreement. Now, my question to you is this. What do you think could be done at this point to be able to reverse the situation or bring normalcy to the situation of things right there in the assembly?
For me, if he does not honor the agreement, he's leaving room for another impeachment. Just as simple as that. It means that whatever was agreed upon and the GAC members advised, if he's going against it, the members of the assembly can impeach him again. So he should be prepared. So
on what ground would they be impeached on? Because like I said earlier, the assembly, though majority of the assembly were not there when this, discussion went between...
No, they were there.
Now,
everybody was there when a decision was made the weekend before the plenary, so including Obasa and Miranda.
So on what basis would he be impeached?
Well, they would be the ones to know that. For instance, they know the reason why they impeached him in the first place. They had reasons for impeaching him. You understand? I'm not a member of the party. I'm not a member of the assembly. But I know if there is a law that binds everybody in Nigeria, and they are given the fundamental right to prove themselves and abide by the law, they have the right to say to the speaker that they don't want him anymore. And they will be the ones to give the reason why they don't want him. That's allowed. Do you understand? So right now, if he's a speaker of the minority, not the majority. The majority can decide to have another caucus meeting and say, okay, oh, the agreement has been violated. Obasa needs to go. And they insist on why he needs to go. They have agreed to go ahead with the agreement. Miranda's resigned a week now. So that's what I'm saying. You have to be a gentleman. You cannot sit tight. It's not your own. Lagos State does not belong to Obasa. Lagos State belongs to Lagosians. And so Obasa trying to sit and hold sway without the majority of the House supporting him is going to fail.
All right, now let's take the final submission from our guest, Dr. Fidelis, who is joining us virtually. What's your take on the situation of things, considering the fact that from Obasa's language, or body language as it were, he is not likely to step down?
First, I would like to say the Nigerian Constitution remains supreme. Nobody's in doubt. But you agree with me that constitutionally they did what they did. And by the influence of the party, they came back to reinstate Obasa. And then by my understanding this morning that there's an agreement, that's where I still speak about that the solution of Nigeria and the possible problem of Nigeria is connected to leadership. Because whether you like it or not, what's happening in Lagos State House of Assembly today, it is party constitution or party operations versus the federal, the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
Thank you so much, Dr. Fidelis Ayemoba, who is joining us virtually from Finland. And of course, thank you, Mr. Said Ajedi, for coming on the show. We really appreciate your time. All right, that's our offering for you from our Lagos Network studios, as we'll be handing you over now to our Benin Network studios for the rest of the program. Do stay.